everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. If you guys are new to us on the Amazon platform, welcome. Make sure you guys hit that follow button. You see it either here in this corner or down below. You also will see some, and I do mean some of the music by our next guest. We're so excited to welcome, for the very first time here on Amazon Live, Miss Judy Teets to our broadcast. She's an international recording artist. We're going to talk to her about her extraordinary musical career. Had a chance to interview Judy on Conversations Live, the radio show, over a decade ago. We're going to talk to her about what it's been like for her to amass an audience around the world, but also some of the new music you guys can enjoy. One of the singles she and I were literally just talking about, you guys will see it in the carousel there. I'm going to highlight it for you guys on Amazon. It's called Street Life. There's more music to come, though. We're going to talk to you about that as well. But Judy, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's so good to see you again. And can I say I'm so proud of you? You've done a lot since 2013.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so proud of you as well. And it's been great. Thanks to Facebook, we were able to have this conversation together today. We're going to talk about social media a little bit later. But Judy, you've had a very busy 2024, though, because as I mentioned, the single Street Life came out. You've had other music out this year. What has it been like for you to see the way not only your fans have gravitated to the music, but how your music continues to bring listeners joy?
I don't know. It's really funny because, I started out when I was like a teenager and I went from blues to disco to pop to, dance music, so I've hit every genre really of music. But where I am now is a very comfortable space because I just do what I feel. I do I had this single out before called Within, because I'm really a storyteller. That's the kind of singer I am. I write songs from my soul. And I'm finding that, when you don't have the huge backing of a record company telling you which direction to go and what to do and what not to do, you do what you feel and people connect to that. Like a lot of my dance fans were really shocked when they heard my song Within. Don't live your life for another. Don't live it for a friend. Just find a bit of courage and live it from within. You wouldn't find that in a dance song.
Yeah.
you know. So the fans related to that. And Street Life deals with the homelessness and the fact that they see homeless people on the street, but they don't think about their stories. They don't think about how they got there. So the song looks into all that and kind of opens up your heart to be a little more sensitive, not just passing them a dollar, but thinking about their life and their journey, So I guess I'm a preacher's daughter, so I'm preaching.
No, I want to go back to what you said, though, Judy, and it's really a good part of your story yourself, and that is about the journey and being able to tell these stories. This is something, music is literally, something that's in your blood, but what has it been like for you to be able to carve your own path? I think when I think about Judy teaching your longevity, it really has to be with your being comfortable, as you just said, being able to do what you want and what you feel. What has it been like for you to know that just by being yourself, that you've been able to inspire others?
I feel, when people connect with me and they tell me they appreciate what I'm doing, it really warms my heart. It really warms my heart because, when you're given a gift, it's not just for fame or glory. It's for really touching the souls of people and connecting heart to heart. So when I get a response from people saying they appreciate what I do, I love it. Absolutely love it. And I think that's my purpose, and I'm not out here trying to be a big star or, I love being under the radar. I love it. I don't get all those scandals and people all up in my business. So that part is fine. And I don't know. I just love the fact that people feel they have a personal connection with me. Like I speak to my fans. I don't call them fans. I call them friends. Mm-hmm. And, I just love that.
Yeah, love that. I'm going to say hello to you guys coming in on the Amazon side. I see you guys. If you guys have any questions or comments for Judy, make sure you guys do put those in the chat. Well, I should mention, as I said, we are simulcasting on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X. I see you guys coming in over there on YouTube as well. If you guys have any questions or comments for Judy, make sure you guys put them in. So, Judy, I want to talk about, you were just talking about the family that you've been able to amass. They literally are global. Did you know from the very beginning that was something that would happen, that if you created music that spoke to the heart, that literally people around the world would find it?
Well, that's the advantage of today's technology and social media, because you have you're being exposed to more people than you would normally. Before, you were at the mercy of record companies. They decided where they would release your music, and they decided who would pick it up and who wouldn't, and they promoted it in a way that they decided the audience. But with today's technology and the fact that we can all connect everywhere in the world, people have choices. And so to be chosen by people, for people to say, you know what, I love your music. I never heard this before, but I love this. And they wouldn't have heard of Judy Cheeks. I mean, it's not like I'm a major, Judy Cheeks. Not. In my career, even though my first album was produced by Ike and Tina Turner, when I was 18, my career was mostly overseas in Europe. Yeah. So I'm always shocked when anybody in America even knows my name. I mean, they know my father, but I'm really shocked when anybody knows my name, in America.
Yeah. Let's talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind, Judy. This has been interesting for me to watch in 2024. I've seen Deborah Cox has been a part of this conversation this year, talking about the audience she's amassed overseas and what she's doing, over there. Of course, you mentioned Tina Turner, who, of course, that's one of the things that she talked about a lot was, her being overseas, what that did for her career. What do you think it is about being outside the United States that really seems to connect with the international audience, that really does push everything? What do you think it is about that kind of causes that to be the case for so many artists?
Well, I found when I lived over there, they were very interested in something different, like they love soul music, and there was a great appreciation, for soul music and Black artists. I mean, I didn't only sing, I did TV shows, I did movies, I did all that because, I was something different, and they honored me, really. They really showed me a lot of affection and a lot of respect, and I owe them for that. I think Germany and the UK. I mean, I had some success in the UK too, but I started the real bulk of my career started in Munich, Germany. Well, it was also the kickoff thing for Donna Summer, and there are a lot of opera singers and all sorts of acts who made it big in Europe because Europeans have a great appreciation for talent.
Yeah. I love that. And I think that's such an interesting point. And I think it's something that our audience has definitely been able to see. Judy, when I was prepping for this segment with you, and as I mentioned, thanks, I have to credit Facebook for allowing us to be able to stay connected. But also, of course, for us to be able to have, this type of connection as well. Did you know in this chapter of your journey in music that social media in particular would be a big part of that for you?
No, because I keep saying I'm retired. But I got into this. I had a very dear friend, Sean O'Shea, who was very, very ill, and he had been a fan of mine in South Africa since he was 12 years old. My manager's just and he had been a fan of mine since he was 12. So he got really ill, and we connected on social media. And he told me that he was basically sent home to die. Wow. And I would write him songs every day to encourage him and just to uplift him. And he said, Judy, the world should hear these songs. You should put them out. And I said, oh, I'm retired. Nobody knows Judy Cheeks, And so he was in South Africa, and he was head of the tourist agency of South Africa. So he had a lot of skills, but he had never been into like music production or, market, making covers and stuff. But together we just, we'd be on the phone 5 minutes, boom, here's an album cover, boom, here's the mix, boom, boom, boom. So we started putting out these songs, and that's when everybody starts saying, oh my God, this is amazing. We love it, And so unfortunately, after about 10 years, he died. He held on because he said, I believe God has asked me here to work with you. That's what I'm here for. And then he got an added illness. He had pancreatic cancer, and he lasted about 2 years with that. But so when he passed away, I thought, okay, I'm done. And then I did an interview with the guy in Scotland, and he said, wow, I'd like to, put out some stuff on you. And I thought, oh my God, I'm retired. And then I wrote this book about my dad. And so this guy, Rory Nickel, my manager, he does movies, he does all kind of stuff. He says, look, let me do the documentary on your dad, and, let's put out the audio of your book and all this kind of stuff. And I said, oh, okay. So all that stuff is coming, and I'll be touring, in Europe and stuff. So I don't know. Every time I say I'm going to sit down, somebody say, no, stand up, stand up, stand up.
So let's go back, because I think this may be a surprise for some people. Judy, what was it that, I'm one of those people, I have to say, who when artists say they're retiring and they go on a farewell tour that lasts 9 years, I think to myself, I think, you're really, is it, I know you're saying people were drawing you back, but was the music continuing to speak to you even after you said you were retiring?
Well, what I do every day, I have a little studio here in my home, and I go in and I write songs every day, because that's my way of dealing with anything. I just really, everything is a song to me. Everything is a story to me, and I've been struggling a little bit. I had a little case of pneumonia, so I went in the studio, I think, a couple of days, and it was the first time in a long time. So, I feel weird, because it's like, music is like my medicine, but if you got pneumonia, you can't hit those notes. But I'm feeling better now. I'm feeling much better. But yeah, so, and also I started painting, during lockdown. I never knew I could draw a straight line. And then I thought, well, a friend of mine is a painter, and he said, Judy, go buy some material, just start, And before I knew it, I fell in love with it. I love painting portraits, and I paint portraits of people I love, which when I paint them, the feeling that I have for them also comes in it. So if you check my page, you can see all my paintings.
Yeah, and what we're doing right now, while you were talking, because I read your book back in 2018, Judy. I was putting it in the carousel for those joining us on the Amazon side. I want to say for them, you all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm speaking with the one and only Judy Cheeks today. If you guys are not staying connected with her, we are going to let you guys know how to be able to do it. But I do want to show them, Judy, as I mentioned, I just put it in the carousel for those on the Amazon side. But this is the book she was just talking about, Love and Honor, the life of Reverend Julius Cheeks. And I love the fact, I remember, you can see, Judy, I bought this back in 2018, a long time ago. But this is something, again, that was so nice for you. What was it like for you to be able to share this love letter of sorts about your father with us in this book?
Well, when I first went to Europe, I was really amazed that people would come up to me and say, Judy Cheeks, is Reverend Julius Cheeks your father? And I would say, my daddy. Because, we think the whole gospel thing, especially quartet gospel, it was an American thing, a Black cultural thing, And Europeans, especially young kids, they're very interested in not just music, but the history of music, and they love all that. And also you recognize the influence that quartet gospel music had on every genre of music. The rock and rollers and all these people, they listen. You'd be surprised how many people come up to me and say, my dad has really influenced them. So I thought, okay, then I'm going to tell the story. I'm going to tell his story, because a lot of people ask me, how did he do it? My dad was very anointed, and he had fire in him. And they said, how did he do that? And so I went deeper. And as I went deeper, I kind of, the journey took me on some of the pain I felt, because one of the sacrifices he made was being on the road all the time, which meant I didn't get to see him as much as the audiences got to see him, Yeah. And so writing the book, I was kind of healed from some of that pain. And I realized that when there's a calling on your life, you know, you have to do what you have to do, and you have to make sacrifices. But he knew that I would be protected. Like, if you look at the business as it is, and some of the dangers that females, you know, are faced with, man, I have been protected. I know my father prayed for me because, first of all, I'm crazy. I don't let some things happen, but you know, I know that he knew that if he did what God sent him here to do, God would look after his daughter. And that's what happened. And so I escaped a lot of stuff in the industry. And I think also being in Europe kept me away from a lot of perils that I could have faced, you know,
Interesting.
elsewhere.
Interesting.
So the
yeah.
story is really about him and his journey. And it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Don't you think? You read it?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what, well, I did, you know, as someone like, that's why it was interesting to me, Judy, what you just said, because of course I didn't know of your father before reading the book. But that's why I thought,
you're a little baby. How old are you, Cyrus?
you know, I'm older than I look to. I'm 49 years old.
Oh, I bet your mama knew about him.
Yeah, you know, 49. So, but I do think that's the great thing about you writing the book. So, is that something that has been easy for you to embrace, that title of being an author?
Well, it's like songwriting. You tell
Okay.
the truth. You tell what's inside you.
Mhm.
And the thing about writing a book about someone you love, you discover things. You know, like I interviewed JoJo Wallace, the guitar player of the Nightingales. I interviewed a lot of people, and I got an inside story of, you know, not only who he was, but you know the things they went through on the road. You know, I mean, being attacked by police on the road just because they were black, the fact that they couldn't, you know, go to restaurants, or, you know, they had to only sleep in black owned hotels when they could afford a hotel, because half the time they didn't make much money anyway, and they slept in the cars. So the dangers that they faced, they used to drive down the roads and see people hanging from trees, you know, and this is something that the world needs to know, you
Yeah.
know, because when you see all of this, you internalize all of this, and when you get up on stage and you've got to encourage people, the saints who were there who want more faith, you know, they were going through a struggle back, you know, we're talking 50s, 60s, you know, black people were really struggling then. So my father was, you know, part of his calling was to encourage people, to uplift them. But imagine uplifting somebody when by the time you get to the gig, you know, you've been beaten by police, or you know, you had a gun pointed at you, and you still got to get up there and say, God is good, you know? So that takes a certain amount of strength and inner faith, you know, in something bigger than you. And that's what my dad was about. And I also got into his father, Mozan, who was Cherokee Indian. And I realized that the spiritual side of him, the strength, you know, came from a lot that his father taught him. So, and also my sister and I, you know, my sister June, she passed away, but she and I connected on that because there were things about ourselves we didn't understand. But when I really got into Mozan, my grandfather, we were like, oh, that's me. Oh, that's daddy, you know? So writing a book about someone you love it's an amazing journey. It's very emotional. Some things, you know, you cry through, but when you cry through some things, you understand them better.
Yeah. And that brings us to where we are now then, Judy. As I mentioned, you released new music this year. What's on the horizon? What should our audience be on the lookout for?
Well, I'm supposed to be touring Europe pretty soon, but also the documentary now is in editing phase, so it should be coming out soon. It'll be available. And I'm really excited about that. I'm a manager. He says, oh, you know, it's all about your dad, you know, you should include stuff about you. And I'm like, I'm not the type to promote myself. I'm just not like that. But he feels that my story is also interesting. So the two stories are intertwined, and you kind of, if you see your dad, if you see my dad, you see me. If you see me, you see my daddy.
Yes.
And so that's the main thing that I'm really looking forward to, and I just keep putting out music. So I'm going to do that, forever, I guess, till y'all get tired of me.
Well, we will never get tired of you, and I'm so glad we had a chance to bring you over here on the Amazon platform. Again, everyone, the one and only Judy Cheeks has been our guest. Make sure you guys pick up the book. I'm going to highlight it again for you guys on the Amazon side. There you see it, Love and Honor. For those joining us on the social media sites, we have a link that'll bring you guys over here to Amazon. And also, of course, a single we mentioned earlier, Street Life, the radio edit, you guys can find there on Amazon, as well as a lot of other great music here on Amazon as well. Judy, is Facebook the best place for people to stay connected with you?
Yeah, Judy Cheeks. Judy Cheeks.
All right.
Judy Cheeks 1 or just Judy Cheeks. Judy Cheeks.
Okay. Well, we've linked Judy up as well. Judy, this has been a lot of fun. So glad to have you on, and looking forward to having you back again.
Okay, sure, anytime, and you get your technology straight.
Let's see, Judy. Judy, you didn't have to go there. Judy. Well, look, and we thank your audience for tuning in. It's another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.
God bless. That was fun.